what up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday was another good day. Trying to remember, only one bet at the Pacers game up and over 218 and a half, and that was easy. Easy money. And that means we've won 19 of our last 23. So we'll try to keep it going here today. And Veno, I know you had a winner as well. Pacers team total over was easy. You have anything else to go with that?
I did. I have Tyrese Halliburton's points and assists over 25 and a half, which was also easy. Thought maybe we'd get him to assert himself a little bit more last night. He did. So 2-0, 13 of 15 this month in the NBA, 13-2. Nice. Rolling right along here. So I don't know. Maybe we should just keep on doing this all day and all night long. We might be rolling in the profits here. But it's been a good month. NBA playoffs have been very, very good. We'll see if we can keep it going tonight.
You know, if the players and everybody cared every single game, it could be this easy all the time.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? It's hard to tell. When they don't care, it's hard to gauge them. But right. We know what's going on now. And I think yesterday, real quick, because I know we're going to get off of Pacers and Knicks, but we did talk an awful lot about the minutes that Tom Thibodeau puts on his starters. And you saw it last night. Anunoby down, Brunson down for a quarter. I don't know, Skee, how much longer health-wise they're going to hold up playing these 45, 47, whatever many minutes. I think Josh Hart played every second of the game last night, I think.
And that's not unusual. That's the Tibbs way. And we see him do it with Hart plenty of times. I text you and I told you I had fell asleep and didn't even get to, think about push and confirm on that series bet that we talked about yesterday. But it's hard to, the price didn't even really change. And I feel like that's really telling you something as far as the Pacers plus 2.5 games. Like you just mentioned, those guys are dropping like flies. They're banged up. Pacers going back home. It's hard to think the Pacers can't win two of their next 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk more about that. But I think it's time to jump in. I'll say that right now. First comment of the day, Rob. Yellow. Raul Pena Vasquez. Got it right off the bat, 9:24 a.m. So, Raul, you will get lunch for the day. Just hit me up on Discord and Discord, Twitter, or comment on after the show, and just let me know like what's your Cash App or something, and we'll get you taken care of. So, appreciate all the guesses coming in today. Sorry for you guys who wasted your time after Raul already got it right with the first one.
Somebody's telling me I have the wrong shirt on. I never read the comments, Skee. I'm actually looking at the live chat right now. Somebody just told me I have the wrong color on, so they must have guessed something different.
Well, Boofer, this is what Boofer says. Let me go back to Boofer. Yellow is definitely due. Mint has been a Veno go-to recently. Nick's orange, always a fan favorite. Going back with the light blue well today. But he did say yellow was due. There was already a yellow guess first off. So Boofer's spreadsheet is doing some nice work over there.
I like that.
Shout out to you, Mark. He says, Skee been telling these playoffs and been cashing. Joined up today to show some support. Thanks for the knowledge. Appreciate you, Mark. Let's continue going in the right direction. Let's see a couple more comments. Football coach says, can the Cavs get to 100 points? We'll talk about that today. Bueno Nelson says, good morning, Prophet Nation. Seeing all the regulars in the chat. Let me see. Let's see. A couple more comments before we get started here. Aaron says, I didn't even finish reading the comment, but I can imagine where it's going. Says, since Kyle isn't on the show today, can we have some real talk about how Tibbs is killing his guys? Brunson going to end up hobbled like D Rose. Yeah. We've seen this time and time before. It's the Tibbs way. So it works really good in the regular season. It's not really good for the player's career long-term necessarily. And you see how they're looking right now in game 2. So we've already had a little discussion about it. Anything else you want to add there, Rob?
No, I think, we've actually been talking about it since back in the Philly series, like we said yesterday, and it's going to come a point in time, it looks, where the Knicks are going to be counting bodies available to be able to play here. So the deeper these playoffs go, the more of a concern it is for sure.
Aaron says Knicks starters will have played 2 times as many minutes as Celtics if they meet. And, it's not a good position to be in. I'll say that.
Damn you, yellow.
Richie, appreciate you. He liked the call on the over game yesterday. M. Scissor says, Rob, you have the wrong shirt on.
That's what I saw.
Miss Tasha in here. Aaron says, we're both killing it. Appreciate you, Aaron. What up, Sean in the building? Saturated says, Siakam better show his worth now that OG is out. I agree with that. Very, very good point. OG is not ruled out completely yet, but I think he will be. There's Kyle, right on cue. Greetings from Madison Square Garden. He did have the Knicks yesterday, -4.5. They did cash, and he said they're going to sweep them. So we'll see. They're halfway there. Nice to see you in the chat, Kyle, and congrats on your winner yesterday. Let's see. Derek with the lyrics in here from K-Dot. Appreciate you. It's a lot of comments coming in here. I don't want to just skip over everybody. I want to at least try to skim through. When is Tibbs gonna cut his hair? Asking. Maybe if they he might get stressed enough in this series if he keeps losing some more players. He might not have any left. Brandon, appreciate you. All right, let's get to it. And before we do, Kyle says, go ahead, everyone. Go slam Pacers -7.5 in game 3. Everyone jump on it. We'll talk about that tomorrow. First game up today, not time order. We do rotation order on this show. 565, 566. Dallas and OKC opened up Thunder -4.5. They are a 5-point favorite. Total open 218.5. Not much movement. Sits at 218 here. I should just refresh this. I know Luka still has not looked good. He's definitely hurt. We know they're without Maxey. OKC, they look like a well-oiled machine, and they're not banged up at all. They got depth. I feel like it might take some time for Dallas to adjust to this team, and I don't know how much they can adjust to. Maybe when they go home and the role players start to play better, because like we mentioned, they were leaving Josh Green wide open. He's just bricking. I do trust Luka to play a little bit better. I don't know how much I trust him from the 3-point line with that bad knee, but I trust him to play better than he did last game. I trust that Kyrie will step up. Is that enough, though, Veno?
Yeah, that's what you have to ask yourself, right? I mean, they need some support from the surrounding cast here. And just a couple of things to emphasize points that you just made. 7 playoff games so far. Luka, 17 of 75, 22.7% from beyond the arc. Not good enough, 22%. And from Kyrie, if we're going to get into quotes early here, Kyrie said, for me and my teammates, we just have to continue to attack and continue to play downhill. There's some things to look back on, but their defensive pressure is not going to stop. So we've just got to adjust. And to your point, Skee, how much adjusting can they do? That's the question. We'll see what Jason Kidd does here. Other side of the ball, Mark Daigneault, head coach of OKC. Dallas is really good when you slow down and you allow them to kind of scheme and calibrate, which tells you right there, they're not going to slow down. They don't want Dallas to take time to scheme and calibrate. So, you and I had a little off-air discussion yesterday once the show was done about this particular total and which way we thought it might go. And I think you could stand on opposite sides of the fence and have a legitimate argument back and forth which way. But if you're going to bet over in this game, you have to believe that Dallas is going to be able to score their share of points tonight. I think their team total is 106.5. You have to believe that Dallas is going to be able to get higher than that if you play over. If you think that Oklahoma City's defense is going to continue to swarm somewhat in the fashion that Minnesota's did to Denver right back in game 2, after game 1, the thought process was kind of, Nuggets will bounce back. Nuggets will score. And it didn't happen. And I don't know which version we see tonight. Do we see a Dallas bounce back offensively, or do we see OKC, which has been really, really good defensively so far in these playoffs? Do we see them continue to not allow a lot of points? So for that reason, Skee, I have no play on the total as of yet. I mean, we're talking here at 151 East for a 9:30 tip-off tonight. I could still change my mind. But right now, I have a hard time figuring out total in this game. And I think I have just as difficult a time working on site. I do want to give you something, though. I'm missing my phone here. I'll get it in a minute. I want to give you something from my youngest son, who's a Dallas Mavericks fan, who said he's very glad to see that Tony Brothers isn't refereeing the Dallas game again, because Tony Brothers hates Luka.
Every game? Oh, okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah. And tonight it's switched. And he actually did the research and texted me that Dallas averages 7 less free throws per game when Tony Brothers is blowing the whistle. But tonight it's not. So maybe Dallas gets to the free throw line a little bit more. I know you and I talked about the touch fouls that were called against Dallas in game 1. They didn't seem to argue many, but maybe they get a little bit of extra benefit at the free throw line tonight, especially if they're aggressive downhill the way that Kyrie says they need to be.
I wanted to. Here it is. UCapper says you can mention that query from earlier, Skee. Damn, I should let me see. I have it here on my phone. So he sent something to me this morning. It's pretty much saying past like 12 years in the second round of the playoffs, you're looking at home favorites after winning as a home favorite, and they're only, I'm sorry, my bad. Let me start over. So back to 2012, second round home favorites 6 or less after winning as a home favorite, and it's not game 1, and they covered in that game. So it seems like it might be a lot, but I feel like this is one that makes a little bit of sense. It's point towards the Thunder. It says that those teams always come back and win and cover. And the way I think about it is just I can see a lot of ways that the Thunder win this game. It's not a whole lot that they have to do or change or whatever. It's Dallas where I'm struggling to see how they can stay in it. So I think that query is worth something there. I would be betting the Thunder if I'm playing this game. Although I wanted to bet the Mavs, ahead like when I was looking at this game ahead of schedule, but after watching and just Thunder have been pretty dominant. It's very hard for me to go against that. Another comment I wanted to shout out here, Rob, bring me to something that I'm liking here. Well, 2 comments. A couple guys liking Luka under 3.5 3-pointers. I mean, that seems like a pretty good prop the way he's been shooting with that hobbled knee. So I think that's worth a look. And I can't find the other comment, but it was somebody in here who mentioned that. There it is, Derek. OKC hasn't given up 100 yet in the playoffs. So I just looking at the total, we expect OKC to play really good defense. They've been consistent in that. And with Dallas, missing Maxey to spread the floor, that paint is going to be really packed. They can't even get the lobs that they're always getting. It's tough to see a lot of ways that Dallas is going to score outside of their 2 main guys. Then on the flip side, you mentioned that Kyrie quote. What I got from him, he was kind of just saying like they need to clean up fast break defense because they need to try to slow OKC down, and they need to just tighten up the defense in general. He was just saying like they didn't come in with whatever attitude was necessary. I did hear him say that. So combination of that, and then just looking at how that last game was played. I mean, OKC shot what? Was it like 46? I think it was 46% from 3. I'm not sure that we expect that again here in this game. I think Jason Kidd was talking about it. He said OKC came out and they made 11 and 14 from 3. And I think they were a little bit better after that. Also, OKC, the first half shot 22 free throws. Second half, Dallas held them to 6. So in my mind, Dallas figured out that, hey, we got to defend these guys a little bit different. We can't let SGA get to the line all game, let him get in his rhythm. And I think that will continue here today. Lot less foul calls. I mean, there was 53 free throws, I believe, combined from both teams. And OKC, they also got a lot of one way Mavs can improve. They turn the ball over a lot, and that was I can't think of what the word is. That was just it's not like them, is what I'm trying to say. They're the fourth best team as far as taking care of the ball. So I think in that regard they can get better. If that means it shouldn't be so many easy baskets off the turnovers for OKC. I think it's another under game. I would be betting under the total, 218 and a half, 218. Any thought on that, Vino?
Yeah, I think it's a legitimate stance. Like I said earlier, I think you could stand on either side and make your case. Obviously, that's what the bookmaker wants, two cases, each opposite, so that they can collect vig. But I could certainly see an under. Two things are going to be true here, Skee. First is that Oklahoma City, with that 9-man rotation that Dagnall has, that again, they substitute as freely early in the game as any team in the NBA. He doesn't care. His starting five go to the bench with 7 minutes left, a couple guys in the first quarter, so he can bring in subs. And what they do, I used this example yesterday with our colleague Joe Ranieri on the NBA Wager Talk show. It's almost like in college football, those SEC defensive lines that have like 10 really good rotational linemen that rush the passer. And they just keep rotating them. And eventually you can't stop the onslaught because you tire out. And I think that's what happens to Dallas offensively, or what happened to them in game one. Could be what happened in game two. We talked yesterday an awful lot about how we didn't believe that the Knicks could slow the Indiana pace. I don't believe that Dallas can slow the Oklahoma City pace, to tell you the truth. Now, whether that's offensive or defensive, I just mean it's going to be a hectic, high energy style game. Dallas cannot play. There can't be a portion of the game where Dallas becomes methodical like they could against the Clippers. The Clippers will allow you to play that way. Dallas and the Clippers, to some extent, are mirror images. But Oklahoma City's not going to allow that. So I don't think Dallas can slow them down. Therefore, I think Dallas has to shoot better to stay in this ball game, and they have to do it for all 48 minutes. I think Lucas said it best in his post game. Somebody asked him about the knee, and he kind of said, who cares? We lost on to game two. What we have to do is come with energy for 48 minutes because these guys are relentless. And that's what it's going to take. PJ Washington has to show, Skee. Dallas is so reliant on those corner threes where Luka or Kyrie penetrate and kick. And we laughed yesterday about how Josh Green's bricking them. Tim Hardaway, first game back, was bricking them. They need PJ Washington for sure. It's tough for me to side with Dallas in this particular game. I think in game two, the home team always wants to go up 2-0 and hold serve. In game two, if you're down 0-1, the visitor comes in with the idea, let's just split. You'll get full effort out of both sides. I think Oklahoma City's the better team at this point in time. Whether or not it goes over or under, I'm not real sure. I got to tell you this. I really wanted to get there with Dallas over 106.5. I thought that number is low for a Dallas team, but I don't know, Skee. I don't know that they didn't show me that they can handle this defense. So we'll see what today brings.
All right, we'll see. Should be a good game, regardless. My bad, excuse me. I know I had to sneeze there. I knew it was coming. But yeah, it should be a good game regardless. And Dallas, I mean, regardless if they lose tonight or not, I think they'll play a lot better when they go back home. So let's move it on over to the next game. We have 567, 568 Cavs and Boston. Boston opened as a 13-point favorite. Looking at 13.5 right now. Total hasn't really moved. It's sitting at 212. Jared Allen, questionable once again. And I don't think he's gonna really be out there. Boston, obviously without Porzingis. No Porzingis, no problem in that last game. I mean, it was a pretty bad spot for the Cavs coming off of a 7-game series. But it's not like they have much more rest right now. So I think Boston is a little bit too much for them to handle. The guards, Boston has really good perimeter defense. I see the Cavs struggling once again. Their team total is probably the way I should have won in the first game. I was looking at it. It was 100 for this game. They struggled to get 100 a lot versus Orlando, and they didn't get there. They have a lot of time for like they go 4 or 5 minutes without scoring. So I can see the Celtics holding them down once again. The one thing that kind of made me feel weird about it, I guess, I heard a couple questions in the interviews just saying, "What can you guys do to just get to 100 points?" Like it might get to a point to where they're even losing and they don't even care no more. They're just trying to break 100 points. So, but that's the way I was leaning under. How do you feel about it, Vino?
Well, somebody asked this in the comments too when you were rolling through before. Can the Cavaliers even get to 100 points tonight? So let me be that guy who holds his nose and walks to the window and says, yes, they can get to 100 points tonight. I did this earlier for Wager Talk. I'm going to give you my reasoning. Whether or not it holds true or not remains to be seen, but it is. It's 8 playoff games for the Cavs. 6 times they didn't even make 100. Can you justify it? Somewhat. No Jared Allen. We get there, goes some offense. And playing 7 games against Orlando, which is like, trying to drive your car through a mud hole. They're extremely defensive minded. They're very slow paced. Their style just breeds unders. And I think that head coach JB Bickerstaff alluded to that a little bit when he said they'll try to adjust tonight. Playing Boston's a different animal with their spacing, with their tempo, as opposed to playing in a rock fight with Orlando. So, some of those games, I can, if I'm going to make this bet, I can explain away them not scoring 100 points. Cavaliers game plan, much like the Miami Heat was, right? Get some threes up. Donovan Mitchell said, we're glad we got 42 threes up in that game. We just need to make some more. They scored 95 points in that game, shooting 42 threes, making only 11. The 2 games that the Cavs have made it to 100 this playoff season against Orlando, they didn't even have to shoot great from 3 to get there. They shot 35% and 33% against Orlando and got to 104 and 106. 11 of 42 means if they had made 3 more 3-pointers, actually only 2 more would have gotten them over. That's still not 33%. Would have gotten them to 101 last game. 3 games against Boston this year, regular season, they shot it well. All 3 times. 20 of 42, 47.6%, 19 of 45, 42.2. And then, of course, an 11 of 33, 33%. All 3 games this season, they got over this number against Boston. Regular season, not the playoffs. And Bickerstaff alluded to the fact that they missed 4 or 5 layups right at the rim that they usually make. Maybe they were tired off the Orlando series. I'm not sure. But I'm going to make a comparison for you here and what pushed me over the edge. And again, this is kind of a hold your nose and just play it. We do this a lot with underdogs in football where we think nobody wants them because they don't have a chance. But here's the comparison I'll make. It looks to me so much like game 2 of the Boston-Miami series. Miami rolls out there, gets destroyed in Boston, 114-94. Game 2 comes along. They're a 14-point dog. Nobody wants any part of the Heat. The Heat's team total is 94.5. How are they even going to get to 94.5? They've got a depleted roster. And they score 111 and make 23 threes. Eric Spoelstra just basically the game plan, like Cleveland's, is go shoot threes and see if we can make some threes. They got to 111 in that game. It was a pretty good effort out of Miami, down 0-1, which is where Cleveland is. So I think we'll get 48 minutes of basketball out of them. And their 8-man rotation has so much more weaponry than did Miami's. You have Donovan Mitchell, you have Garland, you have Max Strus, you have Karis LeVert, Sam Merrill's a 3-point shooter. There's a lot of guys who can get it in the bucket for you from 3. And to me, and I think that game 2 was one of these games, Skee, Boston can get a little bit content defensively and just allow people, to score at times because for them it's so easy to score. So 99.5 to me is not a lot of points. Obviously for Cleveland, it's been a struggle to get there, but this just looks so much like a rewind of what happened in that second game after Boston crushed Miami in game 1, that I'm willing to take the chance that Cleveland can get to 100. Even if they get beat badly in this game, they cannot cover and score 100. It could be 115, 100. A lot of things could happen, but I think the Cavs probably make a couple extra threes tonight and get there.
Well, if you tell me the Cavs get over 100, then this full game has to go over, in my opinion. Because I know the Celtics are going to score. That's one thing that I think is for sure. Um, there's a couple things brought up here. Start with Kevin Johnson. He says he brings a query. Says favorites of 13 plus after the first game of a series, after they won the first game of a series, and they have less than 4 days rest. They've gone over 13 in a row. So I was trying to deal with this and type it in while you were talking. So let's see. Can you see this here, Rob?
I can.
So all time, it's 16-5 to the over, but it has hit 11 times in a row here. And he mentioned too that none of them were overtime. And you made some good points here, but I mean, I like to see something like this. This this makes me think that we should see some points. I mean, I was already thinking that it's going to be a focus for the Cavaliers to what happened here? Why is it not? There we go. It's going to be a focus of the Cavaliers to try to reach that 100-point mark. And Kevin says it makes sense because off a win as a huge favorite, not much motivation to lock up on defense. He says Donovan Mitchell said they need to get the ball out the net and push. And you have UCapper also coming in here liking the over. I mean, it's a lot of good stuff. A lot of people, I mean, good that I respect, liking the over, yourself included, Rob. Kevin says Boston only shot 27% in the first half and still covered tonight's team total. Thinking about it like this, over does sound pretty damn good. And you guys make me want to take this. Another question came in earlier before we started that discussion and said it was RC. I can't find the comment, but he said, I want to know if we're going back to if it ain't broke, don't fix it in this game. Is there, I mean, if we don't trust the Celtics to be focused defensively, do we want to lay with them at all? I mean, I know they've been a juggernaut in the first half. Like I try to think about it, and if they really want to, if they're focused, I feel like they can hold that team down and cover the first half. But we're all saying they won't be as focused. How do you feel about that Boston first half?
Yeah, and I agree with that, Skee, because when they are focused in all of these games is the first half. That Miami game, the game two that I was alluding to was a bit of a mirage and maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for Boston in that series where they just became complacent. And you see that out of the Celtics a lot because they're so dominant. They can be complacent. Doesn't mean they have to be that way for 48 minutes, but it means to get to 100, it only has to be a certain amount of time where you're just, we're killing this team and give up some buckets. To the point that I think it was Kevin Johnson was making, Donovan Mitchell. And Cleveland's focus here is all about offense. Every single quote you read, but especially Donovan Mitchell, our improvement has to begin on offense. Everything is offense, offense, offense. And I think he alluded to the quote about get out and push. To me, and I think you said this, you expect Boston to score. I would too. I don't think they can stop this team. Cleveland can't stop them, especially without Jared Allen. So the only way to really beat them is score. And the 3 regular season games kind of show us that they were higher scoring games. The Orlando series, again, I think was a totally different breed than this one was. And maybe Cleveland just came in flat in game 1. I don't think they're going to win here, but I didn't think Miami was going to win game 2 either. And that was like 111-94 or something crazy. They destroyed Boston, or 104. I forget what that final was. So I could see both ways. I mean, I do like Cavs over 99.5, and I could see this thing getting over 212 because scoring just comes too easy to the Celtics. It's interesting in that Miami game, Skee. In Miami, Boston had 61, I believe, at the end of the first half, and then went dry in the second half. And when they got behind, they sort of panicked in that game and never got back into it. But that didn't happen the rest of the series. They went on to destroy that team. So we'll see. I just think the Cavs will make their way to 100 tonight.
All right, good stuff, Mr. Veno. AOD, we'll find out in one moment, I guess. Kyle says, anyone else on the under with me? Kyle really loves this bet against the public thing. He really does. I can tell. You don't even got to tell me, Kyle. I can just tell. And
are we the public, Skee?
no, I mean, not just me and you on the screen. He's asking everybody. He'll ask on his show. It just
contrarian.
It's contrarian. There you go. Part of how he likes to play, and that's okay. Everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
But I initially liked the under, just because I said like they scored 74 points in that first quarter last game and still barely got over. But I think we get a better effort from Cleveland for the entire game. Like, I feel like they were really tired coming off that 7-game series, and they're not like that today. Kyle says, Skee, didn't you like the under in game 1 of this series? I did. But I think Boston can score as much as they want, especially if Allen is not down there. And I mean, Cleveland didn't score for what, like 4 minutes at the end of that game and still got to 95. I mean, a couple of those little baskets go in, you get up and over. So I'm not really willing to go bet the under anymore at this point. Over, I've kind of been sold on over, actually.
I think, Skee, too, real quick, that second quarter in that game was a 19-15 quarter. 34 points is all that got scored by both teams combined, and they still got over the number because Boston scored so much in that one. So, 215, when you get to 215 with a 34-point quarter total, goes to show you, like you say, a couple of those go in. Cleveland gets there. Boston probably gets theirs. For the people who play player props out there, I'm about this far from taking Jason Tatum tonight. Didn't really play a great offensive game, 18 points, and it just seems like Jason Tatum doesn't put 2 of those back to back. I think his point total tonight was, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I looked at it way back 9 o'clock this morning Eastern time, but I think it was like 27 and a half. I could see Tatum going for 28 or more here after only scoring 18 in game 1. So that may be another way. And I haven't been a big prop guy this year. Got involved last night with Halliburton just because I thought there was a bounce back there. And I feel like there's a bounce back here with Tatum.
I'm staying away from the player props, but I just wish you luck. I'm player props don't get me thrown all the way off of my orbit where I'm at right now.
Well, they're betting on themselves nowadays, so we got to be careful with these player props.
Joshua likes what you had to say there. Brian says, Cavs haven't scored over 100 points. 1-800-GAMBLER bet. I mean, just because somebody didn't do something doesn't mean they won't ever do something. And they did score over 100 2 times. Just wasn't a lot of times. Kyle says he's not fading the public. He says these 2 teams have been putting up low numbers. Wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland held to 85. We shall see. We shall see. So I guess it's about that time where we move it on over to the best bet segment. And Rob, I'll ask you if there's anything you would like to promote, and if there's maybe a play you like a little bit more than the rest. If not, no worries.
Let's go to the promotional part, wagertalk.com. For those of you watching Skee's video here, Skee's show, that haven't yet signed up at WagerTalk, go right ahead. You go over there and you just drop your email address and you get free access instantly to all the video content provided each and every day. I think they start like 11 a.m. on the East Coast with the NHL show, cover every sport imaginable. So if you're betting something other than NBA or in addition to NBA, WagerTalk's a pretty good place to get analysis from top-level handicappers on all sports. Once again, just put your email address in. Instant access for the video content, the written content, the free plays, etc. If you're interested in selection packages, which are always available there, mine are up and available on my homepage at wagertalk.com. It's been a good roll, like we were talking earlier. Since the 1st of April, actually, it's been good for me, plus 41 units in the NBA since the 1st of April. So it's been a good 6-week run. Go ahead and visit wagertalk.com for the best bet, Skee. I'll just the only thing I bet is the only thing I can recommend here, and that was Cleveland team total over 99.5. We just had a lengthy discussion about why. I won't rehash it, but I do think Cleveland finds their way to 100 tonight against Boston. It's just one of those situational spots, I think, where again, you have to be willing to convince yourself that it's worth the bet. I think I was willing to convince myself it's worth the bet. So Cleveland team total over 99.5.
Good stuff there from Mr. Rob Veno. And I mean, we've talked this out now, and I'm pretty sure I'm ready to jump in. Cavs shot what? They shot 42 3-pointers in that last game, and they made 11. I mean, I have to think they make a little bit more than 11 in this game here. Boston, like we said, I trust them to score, and they're putting up threes too. They put up 46 threes in that last game. So, in a game like that, over 212, best number I see right now, I rock with that. Rob says Cavs can get to 100. I think Boston can do the rest of the heavy lifting. So Cavs, Boston, over 212 be my best bet for the show today. And Rob, hopefully we could be just like yesterday. You hit the team total, and I'll hit the full game, and we'll come back here 2-0 again. So appreciate you taking the time to come in, Rob. We will see you tomorrow as well, right?
You will. You will.
All right, good stuff. Pretentious Prodigy says hit the like button for our guys, Skee and Mr. Veno. Definitely helps out the show if you guys could do that. And we appreciate you as well. A lot of sharp cappers in the chat. Like we always say, all of us versus the books. And we'll continue to keep moving in the right direction together. So best of luck if you tell. Good luck, everybody, on all your action. We'll catch you again tomorrow. Peace.